Good evening, and welcome back to my channel. Today on this talk, on Neal Talk, I want to talk a little bit about what I've been trying to get a better understanding of why it's called and how it's called, the algorithm. And as I have started this channel here on YouTube and trying to get an understanding of the algorithm, how it works, what works for it and what not, I am real interested in getting information on what it is and how I should go about it and trying to, as some would say, get a niche to implement with this channel so that I can do decently at it and be able to share experiences and knowledge that I may have that others might be interested in listening to or looking at. And in doing so, I have been trying to think of different ways to present myself, whether I should do it outside or walking or just sitting at a table or sitting on a couch. Because when it comes to uh, doing a YouTube channel, the one thing that I look at as I've gotten older is I want to be able to share experiences, be able to, number one, help others, but more importantly, I don't necessarily say more importantly, but just as important, I want to be able to generate somewhat of an income, not a living or life-changing income or anything like that. I want to be able to do something that I think is positive by sharing experiences, but yet being able to get a little income from it. As I've retired, I'd be able to watch YouTube and Instagram or TikTok or something like that from time to time. And as the algorithm goes, as they say, once you start looking at something, then uh, the algorithm will bring up another video that you may be interested in or that you've shown some interest in that type of uh, information. Well, I had been looking at some of the videos on retirement and so forth, and it's really interesting, some of the retirement videos. And then you hear people talking about, well, I just fell into it, basically. I was uh, doing this internet thing, this YouTube thing, and lo and behold, my numbers just went through the roof. That's all well and good. And so I'd be sometimes talking with my wife about stuff. Say, come here, honey, look at this video. And it's interesting because you could have someone on there that, to me, is not talking about anything. And they said they got, 100,000, 200,000, or a million uh, viewers. And on my mind, I'm looking at the thing and I'm saying, but they're not talking about anything. They're not sharing any life-changing information or doing anything that the average person can't do or don't do. And as I was thinking about that even more so today, and when I used to work, I worked at a company called American Airlines. And it was really interesting because I can't say it's algorithm or anything like that, but for us, a lot of things just happen in life. You got jobs, you got positions, not so much that you was just so much qualified or overqualified for it. You got it because one, you applied for it. And that to me is, I guess, like the algorithm when they say, just keep doing it. If it doesn't work, this time, just keep doing it. And well, that's what I think a lot of people have gotten to that point in on YouTube where they are doing okay because they're just doing something. You know, to me, sitting there talking about nothing and somebody's paying you to do that or somebody want to watch you. And I said, well, why? But I found myself sitting there watching it, laughing at them and being amazed that they, one, that they were on YouTube and that others are doing the same thing as I, watching them. But the reality is that's what we're all doing, you know. And I guess the algorithm is something that tell other folk that, okay, this is something that you may be interested in. And I think that is in line with what I consider the algorithm in the sense that over time, I know that when I was working, I used to have do interviews. We're going to hire people. And you have some people come in there dressed, what I guess we would say, dressed nicely, looking nicely, and have all types of experience. And then you have others that come there and just look, I just put this on because I wanted a job. And then you have the others that come in there and say, look, I am desperate for a job. I don't have all the experience. I don't have a home. Just whatever you will allow me to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So I'm thinking maybe that's what the algorithm is about, you know, because when I used to interview people like that, sometimes it's, or more times than not, it wasn't necessarily that this person dressed so well. Sure, I tried to give them an opportunity, but a lot of time it's just something about the individual that you see that give you that thought process. Well, this might be a good person, or this might be something that can interest you, or that can just do the job well. For me, I think that that is just as important as being like, for instance, on YouTube. Okay, I got this skill. That may work in some instances and in some ways to some people, but it doesn't necessarily apply to every group or everybody who's watching. So when you look at it, there is over just here in the US, you know, over 300 or 400 million people. And just imagine if you were able to just touch a million of those, a million, that's a lot of people. And what you had to share was interesting to just a million, just one. There's roughly 2 or 3 more million that don't know anything about you. And I find that very intriguing because, and as an example, I was watching YouTube the other day. This one gentleman that was on YouTube, he's been on YouTube, I think, about 3 or 4 years. And this guy had maybe roughly, I looked at thing, I think it says he had like 40 million subscribers. And so he's been doing this for a while. 40 million subscribers. I can see this guy here in a little bitty mom and pop shop here, come through town. I wouldn't have a clue who he is. Wouldn't even think twice. But yet he had a segment of people who would be happy to see it, would be amazed at it. And there's a gentleman that my wife and I watch a lot of times because I have always been interested in Africa. It's a guy named Watermaya. Now, Watermaya is a guy that goes around showing Africa how Africa is not the jungle that we tend to believe sometimes, but it has a lot of first world areas in it. And Watermaya, at times we've seen videos where he's gone to airports and different things. and people in the airport treat him like a celebrity. And others just look at him, and I'm sure they say, "Who is that?" You know, being amazed that there is somebody who's supposedly famous. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people nowadays really want to be YouTube famous or internet famous. And because people will do some of the craziest things on the internet, stuff that I look at and just say, it's not even me, and I'm embarrassed for you. But yet they want the likes, they want people to watch and so forth. They do these things. And that to me is an algorithm because it's just connecting you to people that may maybe show an interest in what you're doing. So I'm asking that you share your experiences of anything that you thought of doing something on YouTube and that you can just touch someone, not necessarily touch the algorithm so it can just display your video to any and everyone, but just something that you think that is worth sharing with somebody. If nobody else, just share it with me with your comment and just say, well, I thought about doing this, but I will not because I don't want to be embarrassed. If I do it, I want, 1,000 people to watch my video or 10,000 or 100,000. But for me, I think that is a fact that you do it in the part where I won't necessarily say longevity, because longevity is one of those things where it does have its place, but we need to do things that people can have an interest in. Today's society give people a lot of people have a short, attention span. But I think that if you do something that catches someone's eye or that they may show some interest in, that will motivate you. It certainly will motivate me. So I'm asking, and I feel myself getting a little bit better at doing this YouTube thing. So I'm still asking that you watch my video, subscribe, and share it. And certainly leave a comment. Let me know what you think and how I'm doing and what I can do to be better at it. So please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I will talk with you later on. Bye-bye.